Erica Ortiz, and I'm a Baptist believer, and the church I go to is really, really traditional. And like when we're praying and stuff, when we usually just put it in like a prayer request, and we believe that God heals, and God does heal, and we believe that God heals in His timing, and like He still does like perform a lot of miracles today. But I've never had an experience like I did when Kylie was praying over me. I've never had anybody pray over me, and just feeling His presence there and healing the small headache that I had was just the first time I've ever felt anything like that. And ever since, because it was just really powerful, and I never, like I said, we would just do a prayer request kind of thing, and we would pray in our church, but never like just pray over someone. And so it was like the first time for me. And so ever since, I always remind myself that the Bible says, you ask not, you have not, because you ask not. And yeah, and like that's why I think prayer is so powerful.
Thanks, Brian. James 4:2 says, "You do not have because you do not ask." So I want to give you a little backstory to the testimony that Erica just shared. It must have been September 2019 when I ran into Erica at school, and she seemed just a little down, like she was having a bad day. So I asked her how she was doing, and she said that she had a headache and she was pretty anxious. And so I asked her, "Hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad does your head hurt?" And she said probably a 7 out of 10. So I asked her if I could pray over her. I laid a hand on her shoulder and I prayed over her. And whenever I finished, I said, "Okay, what is it now? How's your pain now?" And she said probably a 4 out of 10. So I asked if I could pray one more time, and I did. And whenever I opened my eyes, Erica was in tears, and she said that the headache was gone and the anxiety was gone as well, that God had brought her to peace in His presence. Something that I want to note in the middle of all this is, even though this is a testimony about healing, the Lord removing Erica's headache, He showed up in every way that she needed Him to. She also needed peace. She also needed the comfort of His love. And as we welcomed God's presence in that moment, He met her there with His presence, with His peace, and He also brought healing. And the way this came up was I was just willing to ask Erica, "Hey, can I pray for you?" And I think that's one of the biggest lessons that we can take from her story that she just shared, is you have not because you ask not. So if you want to see people healed, if you want to move in the gift of healing, are we asking the Father? And I love what Erica said, how in her sphere, she says she's a Baptist believer, they pray for people and they believe God heals. And the way they do it is they put that in their prayer requests. And I think that's beautiful, and I honor that. But I also believe that there's a place for us to pray for one another on the spot, in person, face to face. James 5:16 says the prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective. And in Proverbs it says there's life and death in the power of the tongue. Matthew 7:7, ask and you will receive, seek and you will find, knock and the door will be open to you. I think it's time for us to start asking the Father to heal people. And I think a simple way that you can start, and a simple way that I started, is to be on the lookout for when people say they're in pain. And a very common way people are in pain in our day-to-day lives is having headaches. So if someone comes up to you and asks if you have Advil, or just in conversation they say, "I'm having a headache," maybe you could take that opportunity to say, "Hey, I'd love to pray for you actually. Let's see if God would take this away." And something to watch out for when you do this is, whenever you pray, a way to steward it is to ask them again after you've prayed, "Okay, how's it now?" And if they say it got better, that's a good thing. We celebrate that. That is still healing. Even if the pain remains, but God takes their headache down to like half the pain it was, that is awesome. God just healed someone through your prayer and through your hands and through your faith. We celebrate that. And even if they don't feel as if the Lord took away any of their pain, I bet that person will be blessed that you prayed for them. And I bet that person might come back to you in the future and maybe say, hey, remember that time you prayed for me? My headache actually went away like 15 minutes later. Or, man, my faith was just so encouraged by the fact that you were willing to pray for me. Like, thank you so much. So I just want to encourage you guys today. A simple way that we can see the gift of healing start taking place in our lives is just to ask the Father. You can ask Him for opportunities, and then whenever you encounter someone who's in pain, whether it be a headache, a backache, whether they injured themselves or anything like that, ask the Father to heal them. And you can do that by praying over them right then and there. I look forward to seeing how God moves as you go, following in His footsteps. And I just want to remind you that everything we do is for Him, it's by Him, it's unto His glory, and it's motivated by love for Him. So as you go carrying His love, bearing His heart for the world. And you can never go wrong there. So stay rooted in love for Him and ask. Ask and see what He'll do. And let me know as you go. Please let me know. I'm curious to see how this goes for you. I'm excited to see how this goes for you. So God bless you guys. I just pray that God would encourage and strengthen your faith, make you bold and stout-hearted to go out and pray for healing. And I look forward to seeing how He heals through you guys. So God bless you. Have fun out there. And I'll see you in the next video.